Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm again back with a very interesting topic which is inspired from my book, The Power of Self-Talk. And today I'm talking about a topic, how we can get freedom from the addiction. When we talk about addiction, we need to understand what exactly is the meaning of addiction, how they are impacting our life and what we can do so that we can overcome all the addictions which we are having in our life. Let me start with a very interesting story. This story is of a flute player who used to play the flute so well that people used to buy so many flutes from him. One day, that flute player was going through a market, and there was a guy, a young boy, who, when hearing that particular melodious voice, purchased one of the flute. Now, that boy wanted to play the same kind of music what the flute player was playing. But in spite of trying so hard, he was not successful. In the end, he was so much frustrated that he finally broke that flute. Next day, when the flute master came again, at that time that child again went to the flute master and complained that this particular flute is not good because it is not giving that kind of melodious voice what you are doing it. The flute master smiled and told him that all the flutes are same. There is no difference between any flute. The only difference is what we are doing with it. Something similar is with life also, that we have many choices. Now it's up to us that which choice we are picking up. Some people decide to do things in a A way, some people want to do it in a B way. The most important is not the other person, but we, that what kind of decision we are taking, and whatever decision we are taking, we actually become like that. Confucius has said a very interesting thing. He said that all people are the same, only their habits differ. So it's very important to understand that when we talk about addictions, what is an addiction? Addiction is something which we may have started maybe as a fun or something, but then later on it has become a part of our life. Now, in spite of our all efforts, we are not able to change that. Maybe in previous time, maybe 30, 40 years back, it was smoking or drinking that was considered to be bad habits. But if we talk about the present time in the 21st century, there were many new addictions which have been a part of these addictions. It could be tea, coffee, social media, FOMO, fear of missing out, maybe getting an appreciation from people, and so many other things which have become an addiction to all of us. In earlier times, person who was smoking or drinking was considered to be bad, and those people were considered to be outcasted sometimes. But over a period of time, there are so many successful people who are drinking, who are smoking, that all of a sudden that has become sort of a social norm, and people are following it and believing that there's nothing wrong in having it. Now, there's a challenge more for those people who are not drinking and smoking. They have to justify that why they are not drinking, why they are not smoking. Talking about some of the addictions, when we talk about addiction, primarily these addictions are controlling our life. Rather than we control the life, they control our life. As simple as the mobile phone. When the network goes, we at times feel that somehow we are short of oxygen. Another way in which we can see all this addiction is that how it is impacting our life, how much we are dependent on that. Like you must have seen in the flight, as the flight lands, the first thing what everyone is doing is just going towards their mobile phone, opening it and just seeing it, that what is happening in the world and what is happening around them. As if they don't see it, something wrong is going to happen. But then it happens. Even if we wake up in the night, maybe when we are going for sleep again, the first thing we do is we just check up the mobile again to see how things are. So that is a kind of addiction we are engaged. Now, what to do about all the addictions? It can be a bigger addiction or it can be a smaller addiction. The first and the easiest way is that we can tell that person that this is bad, don't do it. Maybe we can go to a de-addiction center, we can attend some classes, but there is a very high possibility that after some time we come back again with that addiction. It can be as small as tea and coffee. The second and the very important and powerful thing is that how we can empower ourselves, how we can make ourselves responsible for all the decisions that we are taking. The day we start doing it, there is a high possibility that whatever actions we are taking will start owning that, and then it can help us to remove any addictions. It has been very, very rightly said by Warren Buffett. He said that bad habits are like chains. They are too light to feel until they are too heavy to carry. So what we can do with respect to the self-empowerment? The first and the foremost thing is that irrespective of what we are doing, we have to take ownership of that. So for example, if someone says something nasty to you, now you have two options, one to respond back immediately or second to avoid that. But in both the cases, if you are owning the ownership that you took that call, not the other person, then that is a beginning of self-empowerment. The more we decide that whatever we are doing is not a result of other person, but it is a result of my decision, what I'm doing out of it. It is not the result of stimulus, but it is a result of me thinking and deciding what is right for me. Then we get more self-empowered. And when we get self-empowerment, at that time we can see all these addictions more clearly. We can also see that what is good and what is bad for us, and then we can take a call on that. Say for example, if I talk about me, I had so many notifications on my mobile which I was seeing. It could be about LinkedIn, WhatsApp, YouTube, Instagram, and so that, and I was so happy going through that. But I was also feeling that I become addicted to that. If something is not coming in my mobile in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I was started feeling that whether there is any problem in the network or not. But then when I realized that rather than being a useful thing, it has become an addiction and I'm finding it difficult to live without it. I realized that I need to do something, and I slowly and steadily started working on this particular addiction and stopping all the notifications. Now, almost all the notifications have been closed except those which are most important for my work. And since that decision has been taken by me and not at the behest of someone else, I don't feel that I did something wrong or I had that urge to open those notifications again. And why it is happening? Because I empowered myself. I decided that I need to choose what is right for me. And the more we empower ourselves, it is becoming easier for me and for you and for anyone else to take action on addiction which can be permanent in nature. It has been very, very rightly said that motivation is what gets you started. Habit is what keeps you going. My dear friends, I am challenging myself every day on all the addictions which I am having. Sometimes I am successful, sometimes I am not. But I own the responsibility for all the addictions rather than putting blame of anyone. I am challenging myself. What you are doing. I'm looking for your feedback. Thank you.